Yeah, good morning and good evening, everyone. This is a first session on abroad studies opportunities for our students in Osmania and also elsewhere. We have excellent panel members here. I want everyone to introduce yourself. Then we will have discussion on the opportunities. I will start with HSP, sir. Sir, Runara? HSP, sir. Okay. If sir is offline.
Sorry, you're in mute. You're in mute.
Yeah.
Yeah, sir is mute.
Thank you. Okay, no problem.
Yeah, good morning and good evening once again to all of you. The name that is given there is misleading. This noted as HSP Rao, H. Surya Prakash Rao. I did my MSc much before most of you were born. So 1975 is my MSc, 1973 is for my BSc. I belonged to BSc Special, which of course was among the last batches of the BSc Special in Osmania University. Then I did my PhD from Indian Institute of Science, Bengaluru. I came to United States as a postdoc in Rice University, Houston in 1980. And then that's again, I think, much before you were born. And Bhaskar is here. Bhaskar was my classmate. So during MSc time, then I did after my PhD, I came to United States for postdoc, initially to Rice University in Houston, Texas, and then to University of Minnesota, Minneapolis, Minnesota. I said, enough is enough, go back. So I went back to Northeastern Hill University, Shillong, Meghalaya. First to Central University, Hyderabad for 1 year, then to Northeastern Hill University, Meghalaya for 3 years. And then about 35 years in Pondicherry University. That's where I superannuated. Subsequently, I was with Sharda University as Dean Research. And then presently, I'm in United States, but although I work as a scientific advisor to Vasista Pharma in Hyderabad. So this is my brief story, but when the opportunity arises, in many respects, my innings, I cannot say, never say over, but it is on the wean side. So there are many youngsters who are on the beginners, so they will have better advice than me. But if I have to chip in to tell something, I'll be very happy. My field is organic chemistry. So organic chemistry, synthetic chemistry, medicinal chemistry, and heterocyclic chemistry. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you, sir, for joining. Next, I will ask Bhaskar Garu, Bhaskar Venepalli, to introduce yourself.
Rai Prakash, actually, I want to say hello to all the young people and thank you for doing this. I am probably not going to hang around the entire session because I may not be able to contribute much, but what Surya Prakash said is same, like we both are classmates, 73 MSc, 75 MSc, and then I did my PhD from Osmania University campus itself. And then I came over to United States. And then my path took me in the industrial side. I worked in Eastman Kodak for a while, and then started a company in North Carolina. Then we still live in North Carolina today, and I'm happy to see a lot of young people in this group and all the initiatives being taken. Thanks to you, Ravi, and a few other people. And Surya Prakash is the right person to contribute to you all. But we are here to help any way we can. So please continue the session. I'll go mute myself and listen for a while, and then I'll disconnect. Thank you all again.
Hello, Bhaskar Garu. This is Ravinder.
Hey, Ravinder. Namaste.
Yeah.
So as Surya Prakash said, I'm sure many people in this group are much younger than us, but chemists, once you're a chemist for life. So we try to work any way we can to help the department. That's where our roots started for our career and also life. So we always are thankful to all the things we learned at the Department of Chemistry in Osmania.
Yeah, I can also add that, Bhaskar did his PhD for iconic
Okay.
So,
Yeah, thank you, sir.
N.V. Subbarao was the principal, and Srinivasan sir was our vice principal. So we were there at a different era in many respects, but I think there's a lot of change. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. We also have Tota Ganesh from Emory University. Say hi to everyone, Ganesh, and we'll come back to you for introduction.
Sure. Yeah. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Good evening. Namaste, Andarki. Happy to see you all again, reconnect with you all.
Thank you. Next, Dr. Ravinder,
Hey, good morning.
please
Thank you,
introduce
Ravi.
yourself.
Yeah, thank you, Ravi. Good morning and good evening, everyone. My name is Ravinder Sudhini. I have an MSc from Osmania University. I did my PhD from NCL Pune in 1994. After that, I went to Japan to conduct a postdoctoral studies. I stayed there little over 2 years. Then after that, I moved to US to conduct one more postdoctoral studies at Harvard University with Professor Kishi Group. I stayed there a little over 2 years again. And after that, I got a job into GlaxoSmithKline from 2000 to all the way I stayed until 2019. It has stretched up to 19 and a half years. So I worked in drug development, like process and research development group. I led a group, team, and so on. After leaving the GSK, I just started my own consulting firm. For last 3+ years, I'm doing consulting in the drug development space. So I'm here. I continue to talk to Ravi time to time and also Venipilli Bhaskar. Whatever I am today, I got from chemistry. So I wanted to give something back to the chemistry department and also to the people who want to become or aspire to become a chemist down the road. Okay, that's all I have.
Thank you, Ravi. Next, Aravind Kajam from Wayne State University.
Hi, good
Ravind,
morning, all
no?
of you. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Good morning, all of you. I'm Arvind Kajan. I did my master's in Osmania University campus. So after that, I did my PhD in NIT Rourkela. So I moved 2019 and as a postdoctoral fellow in Wayne State University in inorganic chemistry. So I'm here to discuss about something about PhD admissions and postdoc. So how can I can help somewhat what I know. So I'm very happy that I will be in the part of this group. So thank you for that.
Yeah. Thank you, Arvind. Students, please pay attention to the introductions so that you can pick your choice of a mentor so that they can guide you even after the session. So just make a note and later you can reconnect to them. Next, I request Bhumika, PhD student from Rutgers.
Good morning and good evening, all of you. Thank you, Ravi sir, for inviting me to this session. So my name is Bhumika Goyal. I did my graduation from Delhi University in 2014. And after that, I did a 6 months dissertation project with Dr. Narendra in Indian Institute of Chemical Technology, Hyderabad. And after that, he pushed me to pursue my dream and come to the US to pursue a PhD program. So I'm here since 2018, and I'm doing my PhD in chemistry under Professor Prokopchuk in Rutgers University, Newark, New Jersey. And my field is in organic chemistry, and but mostly I work in organometallics. So if you need any help, because I'm currently pursuing PhD and I got in a few years ago only, you can contact me anytime. I'm very happy to help. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much, Bhumika. Next, I would like to call upon Vinay, Washington University, St. Louis.
Hello, everyone. My name is Vinay, and I did my bachelor's in pharmacy from Osmania University. And then I moved to the US in 2011 to do my master's in pharmacology. Then I pursued my PhD here in the US in Virginia Commonwealth University in neuroscience. And now I'm a postdoc in Washington University in St. Louis. So anybody from the biology background or pharmacy background, I can certainly help them.
Thank you, Vinay. Next, Mahinder.
Hello, everyone. This is Mahendra B. Diwal. I did my master's in organic chemistry from OU campus. After that, I worked a little bit here and there. And then in 2003, I came to United States for my PhD. I did my PhD from University of South Carolina in organic chemistry. After that, I did my postdoc at Wayne State University in medicinal chemistry. Then I joined Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, as a research scientist. I worked over there for a couple of years. And then we founded a biotech startup company here in Cambridge. So from past 5 years, I'm running that company. And in 2003, when the internet was just introduced, I started my GRE TOEFL preparation back in the days. There was only TOEFL, there was considered here in the US universities for the admission. Now I think IELTS is also being considered. I took all these paper-based tests back in the days, so but I think I'll do my best to help you out anytime. Message me, reach out to me, ask me questions. Happy to help. And some of these postdocs, PhDs, their bosses, I feel like I think I know some of their bosses are my friends. Thank you so much, Ravi.
Thank you, Mahinder. Mahinder is one of our main mentor in our mentor program that we did last year also. He has a lot of enthusiasm to help youngsters. Next, I have Venkatramana Junatula.
Yeah, hi, all. My name is Venkat Janothala. I got my bachelor's and master's from Osmania University. And after that, I moved to US to get into a PhD program in 2002. After I got my PhD, I was working in industry for 15 years. And most recently, I was working in GSK for 11 years. And I recently, about 6 months ago, I started a CRO, analytical CRO. I'm leading that CRO, and as I said, I got my PhD from here, and I'm happy to provide any guidance, in this regard.
Great, thanks, Venkat. Dr. Tota Ganesh from Emory University.
Well, good morning, everyone. I did my master's and PhD in Osmania University. Master's was in PG College of Science, Hyderabad. Then PhD in OU campus with David Krupadanam sir.
Yeah, sorry, I'm muting.
That's fine.
Guys, please.
Yeah, so after my PhD in 1999, I went to IIT Bombay just for 1 year training as a research associate. Then I had a short postdoc in England, University of Durham, for 1.5 years. Then I came to US in 2001 in Virginia Tech with David Kingston, natural product chemist. In fact, in Osmania University, my background was organic chemistry in the natural product laboratory. So I went to Kingston's lab. And then from 2006, I came to Emory. Now I am an associate professor, still doing medicinal chemistry. I transformed from organic to medicinal chemistry laboratory with expertise, and then to find the applications of medicinal chemistry, we kind of teamed up with a senior mentor, and then where I learned a lot of neuroscience, neurobiology. And together we have a pharmaceutical environment containing laboratory where we do synthesis, testing in cellular models in the lab, and also testing in animal models, and then do some ADME PK work all in our own lab. That's how we established. So in fact, I had several postdocs from IICT before, and I'm expecting one soon to join next week. So I have a couple of chemistry postdocs, and then I also have a couple of biology postdocs. So basically, we like to train students and in both fronts so that they are ready to take up a challenging position in pharmaceutical world. End of the training in our laboratory. That's where we are. I'm in Emory University, Atlanta, Georgia, right now. That's where the Emory University is.
Yeah, thank you, Ganesh. I have Dr. Prashanti from MG University.
Sir, good evening, sir. Good morning.
Morning. Good evening.
Sir Ravi, sir, and Mahinder, sir, and Ganesh, sir. Sir, myself, Dr. Prashanti, Assistant Professor from Mahatma Gandhi University, Nalgonda.
Okay, great. And also I have Professor Veerasamaya from Osmania. Are you there? Okay, anyone else from the panel or here who joined late, please introduce yourself.
Good morning and good evening, sir. This is Dr. M. Vasavi, Faculty, University College of Science, Hyderabad, sir.
Okay, great. Vasavi, thank you very much. Anyone else? Otherwise, we will start the calling upon again panel members one after other and providing their inputs. Mahinder, is that okay?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I can give you my thoughts. I can begin with my thoughts, and then probably, I mean, I'm the probably oldest, I guess. Me and Venkat came like long back.
Yeah.
There may have some changes taken place recent. So let's begin with there, and then probably the recent PhD scholars who came in, they can add their points. What changes that have happened, right?
Yes.
So I can just give a briefly my experiences back in 2003 when I came in. So what do you think? Is that okay?
Yeah. Please go ahead, Mahinder.
All right, sure.
That's perfect.
Thank you. Yeah, sure. So in 2003, I mean, it took me a couple of years. It's a process. I started in 2000, started preparing for GRE and TOEFL. Like I said, there were paper-based tests, not computer-based tests were not introduced in Hyderabad. So first time I took my TOEFL, I didn't get a good score. And then I had to go to Chennai to get my GRE because Chennai was the only place where you had a computer-based test. And then I got both TOEFL and GRE back home there. And then online applications were not that prevalent at that time, so I had to bring prospects and then send letters to the universities. I've sent 50 to 70 letters to all the Ravi, can you mute security?
Yeah, I muted. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so then I received the prospect, sent out paper-based applications to all the universities. Finally, I got an admission in 2003. It took about 2 years process. So writing exams, taking exams and applications, getting the prospects. Back in the days, things were a little slow because of, the internet was not as popular as now. But I'm pretty sure even though it takes months to year worth of process, even today, I believe. Right. So that's what I would like to mention. Then I got into a small university here in the US. Then after one semester, I didn't like the research over there and I moved to University of South Carolina. There I started my PhD. I completed within 4 years with about 12 publications, 4 JACs. So, after finishing my PhD, then I decided to switch up my fields a little bit in the postdocs. So I joined the medicinal chemistry stream so that I can learn all this biology. So, culturing the bacteria, testing my own compounds myself. I learned it over there. Rather than while I'm contributing what I learned in the synthesis side, I'm making antibacterial, antiviral agents, and then I started learning how to test them in the bacteria. That's how I kind of moved my career towards. After that, again learning. Then I was looking for jobs, and then I found this job at MIT. Again, everybody's dream, right? Harvard and MIT, Ivy Leagues to come in. So I found this job, but it's a little bit in a different field, which is a chemical biology. You're studying the biosynthetic pathways. He's looking for a chemist who has a chemistry and biology experiences. So I was suitable, and then I got this job offer. I joined here. I was doing completely biology with minimal chemistry down here. Lots of learning, total glycosylation biosynthetic pathways in cancers. I've studied over there, and then I learned how to work with human cells here, how to do the protein expression, protein purification. Not only the small molecules like we synthesize, we run through the silica gel, but this entire different area that I started learning. That gave me lots of good experience. With that experience, I, a few of another professor and myself, we started a company which is called Expansion Technologies. Right now, we are developing diagnostics for various different cancers using a technology called expansion microscopy. We're located here in the heart of Cambridge, right next to MIT. From past 5 years, so right now I'm working with the human tissue, cancer tissue sections. So you can see that, right? Started as an organic chemist, so I learned how to work with the bacteria, learn how to work with the mammalian cells, learn how to work with mouse animals, and then now I'm working with the human tissue section. So this is how I developed my career path. But when we come back to coming back to admission to PhD here in the US, and I'm sure some of you recent PhD scholars may add on, it's a process, it's a training. It's just not like you write an exam, you pass and you get it and then you get a job. It's not like that. It's a 5 years, 5 to 7 years of vigorous training. It's every year you get something new. First year, you start with your coursework. You have to finish 5 courses, about 30 credits, I believe. Now I don't know how much it changes. There may not be a lot of changes. So first 2 semesters, you will be taking courses, doing a little minimal research, maybe rotating between the labs to find a suitable lab for you. Or if you already found a lab, just go and get your hands in the lab with some chemicals and some bases, acids, some solvents, and things like that. Minimal experience. In the second year, where you're into more of research, and while you're doing this, and one more important thing is PhD admission in the USA comes with full fellowship, full complete support funding. It could be either as a research assistantship, or it could be either as a teaching assistantship, or a small jobs in the chemistry lab or chemistry helping undergrads, like a lab technician kind of things. So you have to do this job and you have to do your PhD, both of them simultaneously. That's how that covers your tuition fees as well as your monthly stipend. So that's what important thing. So you are coming into PhD to the United States means you're coming with full funding. You're getting admission with the full funding. If your boss, somebody has a NIH funding or government funding, he will provide you research assistance. All you're doing is only research in his lab, working on his projects as well as your thesis work. That's how it works. So first 2 semesters, while you're taking your coursework, if you have a teaching assistantship, you have to teach as well to the undergrads. It could be, in general, you don't have to teach like real classes. You can teach only laboratory classes. So basically, general chemistry lab, organic chemistry lab. What you do is you give them a 10-15 minutes of introduction about the experiments they're going to do in the lab, and then you supervise them and help them while they're conducting the experiments. And another job is usually laboratory assistant. Help the teaching assistant to prepare all the solutions that are required for the undergrads to run their experiments. So these are kind of jobs that you will get to do the PhD. So it's not just, you're not only doing the PhD, you're simultaneously doing many things, right? Number one. And this is one part of the study, and the other part, you have to survive, right? You will have roommates, you have to cook your own food. This is an additional thing which comes with the burden. So this is not from the PhD side, okay? The second year, the first year coursework, second year, you'll start working with your research. So you have to give us a general seminar to the lab. So you take a topic from your coursework or anything, 1 hour seminar. This is like an exam. You have a 1 hour seminar. Everybody asks questions. You have to satisfy. You have to prove yourself that you don't have a stage fear. You're presenting very well. You're presenting the material very well. You're answering the questions. So that's what they test. So this is a requirement. You have to pass this first seminar, and then you enter into the end of the second year or beginning of the third year. What you have to do is you have to write your research proposal based on the research you have been doing from past 2 years, and then you defend with the thesis committee. By that time, you have to select your thesis committee and your advisor as well. Usually, sometimes people select their advisor as soon as they come in. Sometimes they rotate between the labs and then select a suitable guide. And then sometimes, by most probably at the end of the third semester, the sooner the better. Most universities require to end of third semester, you have to select your PhD advisor. If there are any changes, you can add on. And Dr. Tota Ganesh is here. He himself as an advisor. He guides many students, so you can add on more points. But these are my experiences. And Venkat Janathala is here. His experiences you can add on. But so end of third semester, you have to pick your advisor and you start working on your research proposal, which is about 15 to 20 pages of a proposal, and then you defend it with your thesis committee. That means you are kind of entering into the PhD program at this point. And then in the third year, you have another seminar that you have to present that is totally based on your own research. You have to prepare a research topic that you're working on. You have to select it. And you again prepare 1 hour seminar. We prepare 45 to 50 slides. You present to the entire department, and then it's a minimum like minor defense kind of thing. They ask questions. I did in my organic chemistry. So what they made me to do is in my second seminar, they asked me to take a total synthesis of one of the antibiotic, and then they asked me to do a chalk talk. So totally, I'm explaining while I'm drawing the structures on the blackboard. And first I had to do a retrosynthetic analysis and explain them. Then I start with a small molecule. First step to until 20 steps or 30 steps. All the steps I have to go through with the reagents, including complete it in front of the entire department and defend their questions. Why it's happening, what has happening, why you have to use this reagent, why you have to use that reagent for this step. So this is what, in general, organic chemistry, not every university does it. Some universities do it in organic chemistry. And then after the third year, in the third year of the second seminar, you have to write your own research proposal apart from your research, what you're doing. So it has to be a genuine idea, new idea. It doesn't have to work. It doesn't have to be like a great thing, or you have to prove your capability of that. You can write a proposal and defend it. So you defend it in front of your thesis committee. At that moment, you will be considered as a PhD candidate. And then after that, whatever you do, whatever you publish, and then you, in next 2 years, 3 years, depending upon how hard you work, how good your project is going on, you will be ready for the PhD defense. You write your thesis and you go for the defense and then move on. And one more thing I would like to highlight here is, as I mentioned, in the end of second year, you start doing a research proposal. Not all universities does, but my university did it. The research proposal, instead of a research proposal, they do a candidacy exam. What you have to do is they give, it's pretty much whole day exam. They give 5 questions. You have to answer all the 5 questions, long answers from all the coursework you took in your first 2 semesters. So once you pass this exam, you'll be considered as a PhD candidate. Some universities does that, but my university, they decide to get rid of it. It's kind of, they think it's an old school type of thing, because PhD is a training, not an exam, pass writing and things like that. So they asked me to do a proposal writing, write a proposal and defend it. Then they consider me as a PhD candidate. So this is all the process that I went through at University of South Carolina. So, I mean, I'm open for the questions on my experiences. Happy to answer and help, and I'll welcome to others to add any points or any comments. Thank you so much, guys.
Well, very nicely alluded, Dr. Mahendra. Thank you so much. Definitely, students, I'm sure you're listening carefully. You're coming here for PhD. I don't want to spend a lot of time on the PhD, but I want to add 2-3 points and go to the postdocs. So you have two choices here. In fact, you have an opportunity to first go through the little coursework in the first 2 years, and then you have an opportunity to rotate in 3 different labs and choose one professor that you like. In most of the university that they do it here, including ours. In India, where you go, you get a CSIR scholarship, CSIR, JRF, or others, and you find a supervisor and just talk and then join that. But here you have that opportunity. Second one is that, it will be still an intensive training. It's not like you come here and do it relaxedly. It's not like that. You have things to learn, things to come up with ideas, things to write, things to present, things to convince. So you be prepared with that mindset. I would encourage all the professors right now in India, even inculcate these things during their master's time, so that they know what it is coming up in their PhD time. They should be able to, just end of the 2 years of initial training that they go through here, they should be able to write a project on their own, and then convince others that that project will work, and convince others that that is a project he would like to take on. And he should be, clearly thinking towards research. Also think that, PhDs are not like, you think yourself, students, why you want to do PhD? Why not simply go for a job? There are things were different. Things are different now. There are a number of better jobs out there. Without even spending more than a year, you will reach to a level, to a respectable wages and then respectable life. You ask yourself why you want to do PhD. Do you have that passion to do it? Do you have that passion to change the world, or help to make a difference to the world? Those are the kind of things very, very important when you come to PhD. As Dr. Mahendra alluded, that you will have full scholarship, either through teaching assistantship in the first 2 years, and then by research assistantship through professors, whoever you join, end up joining there. So your room and board will be covered with those fellowships or scholarships, we can call. So you are good, but think yourself. And obviously, it's in a process that you need to be admitted in certain universities. I don't know all other universities. I think it's an admission process. You need to prepare your application so that you could compete and succeed. You go respective universities where you want to apply and see what they need, what kind of essay they would like you to write, what kind of the application material they would like to see in your resume, and then you have to meet those requirements first. So I think with that, then I can just add a little bit more to postdocs as well. Once your PhD, in general, in other countries, at least in several years ago, or maybe 2 to 3 decades ago, you're ready for a job, basically. Once you are PhD, why do you need to study? That's highest degree, right? You can directly go for a professor job, or you can go for an industry job, or you can go and start your own company. Why you want to do postdoc? You ask yourself. 2 reasons why we want to have postdocs, at least in developing countries. That we did get PhD, but we think that a little more training would make us a little more mature than what we are. So that puts you at that we are still at the training period. We're not coming. Postdoc is not a job. That's what all students have to understand. Beginning, it's a training period. Perhaps 2 years. Some people spend more than 2 years, 5 years. Now there is a 5 years limit on the J1 visa that you come here. So it's a training period. It's definitely not to really enjoy the full-fledged life when you have a job. It's a training period. That means that you're helping yourself. You also have to help the laboratory that you join by making some cutting-edge discoveries. So if you have already sufficiently learned, the students in my laboratory, I had an undergraduate student who has written thesis and then graduated with honors degree. I had actually 3 of them in the last 2-3 years. That means they already have little bit capability to read the literature, understand it, and write something that could eventually become a novel and add to the science. Doing it at that undergrad level. Master's level, also we have that program. That means that PhD, we are already default, we are already training in that way. Then you are coming as a postdoc. You should be open to read. Basically, what happens is PhD means you reach to a mature level. You do not need any teacher. You should go out and then check out a book from the library. You should be able to understand what is known, what is new to be done, what can be done. With that vision, you come here. You in the beginning, perhaps, you piggyback on a supervisor. In few labs, supervisors are really micromanaged, that come and see every day what are you doing and all. But in my laboratory and the laboratories I went there, we only have one-on-one meeting on weekly basis. And we also have a group meeting every 2 weeks where everybody sit and discuss. But what my point is that you just piggyback on a supervisor and you put your mind into reading as well as, come up with some ideas. And then quickly that help you to improve your resume, to go to a good job in pharmaceutical company. Or if you want to go back to India, that is very key. You quickly learn in 1-2 years the techniques that you didn't learn there, and the knowledge you probably did not have access to learn there, and you quickly learn and then bring it back with you wherever you go and use it for your future. So postdocs, it's not really a job, I would say. It's a still training period. Some people satisfy with 2 years, some people go on. Now, once you come here, things are slightly different to go to industry jobs. These days there are some other, immigration visa related issues. They are not able to go to industry jobs as quickly as they used to in the past. But if an extraordinary student, and if you have extraordinary abilities, and if you have extraordinary thinking skills, you will always have room for success. So that's what I would like to add to the postdocs. Do you really want to go through this postdoc period, and why? That's the first question you should ask. Yeah. Do you really have a passion to settle in science, or you want to quickly learn a few things and go to an industry job? In that case, then what should be your path? So all these things you should predetermine and then come up with a plan. That's what I can offer. And I see 1 or 2 questions in the chat box. Maybe we'll come back to them, or I can answer now. But there was one student was asking whether is there any scope for the computer modeling studies. There is a famous person, computer modelist. I think his last name was Jorgensen. One of the first sentence in one of his Nature paper or Science paper long time ago was that in the current times there is no drug that was made without the help of computers. Followed by, he also said that there is no drug just made with the help of computers. So it's like a 2-in-1 together in medicinal chemistry laboratories and pharmaceutical companies. Biostructural analysis, molecular modeling is a component, and you have enormous opportunities if you have skills, and if you have skills and enthusiasm to use protein data bank, where the structures are protein bound structures, are simply protein structures are available, and you have a software to download on your computer and play with them, and you have intuition to really see how the small molecule bind and dock and all. So you have opportunity. That's what my point is to tell.
Dr. Ganesh, let me add one more point. What you just said. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Everybody, just one point I would like to highlight here. Both of us sounded pretty rough. Like we sounded like it's very hard to do, difficult, but don't get discouraged. One thing that I would like to tell you is don't get discouraged. All of us are very well settled. Some people have seen they bought BMW cars, Audi cars. Just look at this, look at the bright future. So don't get discouraged. There's a hard work there, but I promise you that you will be very well settled with lots of money, and then you can earn very good paychecks, good jobs, good salaries. But there's going to be a little hard work, of course, right? Hard work pays off at the end. So that's what I would like to. Don't get discouraged. As we sounded like, it's a long way process. There's a lot of work to do, but without work, nothing. We gain. So no pain, no gain. I would like to keep motivated, keep encouraged, be ready to work hard. That's what I would like to add on. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Dr. Ganesh. Please go ahead.
No, I think I kind of indicated. Thank you. Yeah, there is nothing to be discouraged here. But if you ask the questions early on, you better prepared for what you are going through, what you will be entering into. So obviously, there are a number of us came as a postdoc here, but several of us came here, and then we even have examples where we came with an organic chemistry. For example, I myself came with an organic chemistry background, right? So I started with synthesis, but then because we have PhD and we have at least open-minded to go and read little more biology and little more other relateds, so that we can find additional knowledge and add it to our resume. That's what I think we should be open students. Not just like, I'm an organic chemist, I only do organic chemistry here. Perhaps perhaps that not take you to where you want it to be. So I just wanted to leave there, and then I will give the opportunity to others. Panel members are here. So if any questions, I will come back to you.
I thought that I will add to what Dr. Mahendra and Dr. Tota Ganesh said so beautifully. There are a few points which I thought that maybe it would be an additional thing to think of, is the skill sets that one should acquire in the modern day to be able to, win either the PhD positions or the postdoctoral positions, the communication skills. I want that every student should think on these lines, that their communication skills should improve, both writing as well as reading. Speaking skills should improve, because modern day, the people are even doing the interviews, or they, for example, a potential supervisor would speak to you directly today, to one-to-one meeting through this kind of video mode, and then they will be able to judge you, because for every position, there is a competition. At least in best universities, there is a competition. You should be, this competition is a world over competition. It's not that it is specific to India only. Therefore, or to Osmania only. Therefore, there is a world over competition. Although this kind of recommendation or references will work good, but then one should have the skill sets. Second thing is that, for coming for PhD, there's a little bit of money is involved. It's about 3 to 5 lakhs. So one should be able to spend, like Dr. Mahendra told, I prepared for GRE, I prepared for TOEFL, and you have to apply. All these things are certainly connected with money. And my guess is about 3 to 5 lakhs. This is for the PhD. For postdoc, there's not much money involved, but you should be able to convince a professor like Professor Ganesh, who is a professor there. So you have to convince that you have a good skill set to be able to be brought to United States. They won't bring it for charity reasons. They would look at your potential, the potential to blossom yourself into a serious researcher, as well as contribute. That point was also made, contribute to the laboratory. Many professors hire the skill sets that they don't have with them. For example, Professor Ganesh would like to hire a biologist. He told that very clearly. He told a biologist. That means that one should have the skill set which is not there in the process laboratory that much as it is desired. So they will bring a computational chemist, because modern day professors have a group. And a group of people with different skill sets, not just skill sets. In yesteryears, it was a different story. That is organic synthesis. Everybody was doing only organic chemistry. Today, many professors are doing interface chemistry. That could be between material science, medicine chemistry, or biology, or biochemical biology, and whatnot. So I would say that these students, back in India, that's the one thing that I find is that the skill sets of the students is not broad enough. They may be good in what, but then their skill set is not broad. So that is one thing which the teachers there should work hard to expand. This point was also made by Dr. Mahendra. Faculty should realign their students to the modern requirements of skill set in terms of giving seminars, in terms of giving, so therefore you improve your communication skills and then writing skills and all these things. Yeah, I mean, these two gentlemen, Dr. Mahendra and Dr. Ganesh, really opened the all the possibilities that one need to get all the skills or all the requirements one need to
Thank
have.
You, sir.
And I have just added few more points.
Thank you, sir. So
Right.
I think even Ravi, what we should do is now we need to go to someone who came recently to share their GRE TOEFL preparation experiences, whether they have used some apps, some consultancy help, or some kind of recent changes we would like to see. Probably that certainly helps. Maybe Bhumika or some Vinay or some recent PhDs.
Okay. Yeah, all right. I'll request Bhumika to unmute and give her inputs.
Sure.
Please share your experiences from preparing GRE, TOEFL, or IELTS, whatever it is. That would be nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I'll try to be brief and stay on point. So it took me overall 8 months to get into PhD. So at first, my first step was to look for the universities that offer PhD programs and have availabilities with the professors that I'm interested to work with. So I was mostly interested in inorganic chemistry and organometallics. So I looked for the professors that I followed, the research papers that I followed during my master's. So I looked into that. So that was my first step. And then looking into the universities, their chemistry department website, and then looking for the requirements to get into PhD for international student. So therein I found GRE, TOEFL, letter of recommendations, a statement of purpose. Statement of purpose is when you have to write what you have done in your career, how you got this interest in chemistry, and what professors are you looking into the department that you want to work with. Letter of recommendations could be your professors from masters or bachelors or industry or wherever you have worked with. And then for GRE, I applied in 5 universities. 3 universities required GRE, 2 did not, and all of them required TOEFL. So for GRE, I prepared on my own. It took me 3 months to prepare for GRE, and then I took the test once. But because you can retake the test again in 21 days, so I wanted to take up the test first. And if my score would be low, I would take it again. But I just did it in one time. And then for TOEFL as well, I took it in November. Because I was applying for fall the next year. So once you have all the deadlines, by what time you need to submit your application, what is the deadline of that particular department, particular university, you have to get prepared with all the documents. So if the for me, the deadline was January 31st. So I had all the documents ready by December. And if I would be lacking something, they could email me and I could submit everything on time. So the process in whole took 8 months to apply and get into PhD. And once you apply everything, they get back to you in 2 or 3 months with if they need anything else, or if you want to accept the invitation, and then they get back to you with your visa requirements, how many months it would take to get the visa slots and everything. So once you decide that you have to do PhD, your first step should be to look into universities where you want to apply and what are the requirements for that.
That's
Thank you so much, Bhumika.
So Bhumika,
Go ahead.
for coming here undergrad, you have to have 4-year degree back in India, am I right?
Yes, yes, that's true. But if you're really a good student, or if you're keen on doing research, even if you have 3 years experience with education, they let you in.
Okay.
So it's not bad if you want to try, if you want to give it a try. 4 years is a must, as they say. But even if you are with a BTech background, they accept applications as well, because it's 4-year degree.
Right.
But
So,
Bhumika, I have a quick question. So your small period at IICT, did it help you to prepare you for the PhD program?
So my purpose to enter into ICT was to experience research in a real-time lab experience. But I was in constant touch with Professor Narendra all the time, and he pushed me to get into that. But what helped me greatly was his letter of recommendation, because he was from a different area, and he was from this big institute that helped me get into the PhD program. I think his letter of recommendation really helped me, because he could really write for me that I did work in his a lab and I was good, and I know all these techniques.
Great.
Bhumika, I have one question. Ravi, may I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so Bhumika, very well explained. So there are 2 points I want you to explain a little bit more. One is, how was like your GRE and TOEFL preparation? What kind of books you have read? What kind of websites you took the help from? What kind of apps you have took the help from for the GRE and TOEFL? Because OU campus, lots of people come from rural backgrounds without any exposure to many things. So if that would be very nice. And the second thing is, how long you have been here at Rutgers from 2018, and then please explain your experiences. How was like your first 2 semesters coursework? What kind of like I explained the process, right? If you can explain what you went through from past 2018 to now, probably you'll be graduating in a year or 2. So that would be nice.
Okay, yeah, sure. So for preparation of GRE, there is, I don't remember the name of the book, but it's the firm that offers this GRE program.
Back in the days, we used to do Barron's.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Barron's. So there's this whole book. They have these modules. They have practice tests that I took up, and there's also
probably now they may have a CDs or online.
Yes, yeah, they have CDs.
Back in the days, I used to read books.
Yeah, they have CDs, online accounts where you can experience mock test, practice test, real-time test experiences. And then for apps, there are many apps called like with, if you just search in App Store or Play Store about GRE, they'll give you all these apps where they have flashcards. So because I used to take metro and travel, everyday travel 2 hours, I used to look for these flashcards and these words, their meanings, and something like that. They have a lot of
exactly. I remember back in the days, I used to carry a mini Oxford dictionary in pocket wherever I go, in the city bus, wherever I used to read the words for GRE preparation. Yeah. Very nice. So keep going.
My beginning step was to just Google how to prepare GRE for beginners, and it helped me give the guidelines. So there are a lot of apps. If you look into Play Store, you'll find enough of them. And then for maths as well, there's a lot of tricks. And once you get into preparation, you will get hang of it, and you can, within 2 months, I'll say within 2 months, you'll be confident enough that you are ready and you are getting there. And for the next 2 months, you take a lot of practice tests. Within for 21 days, they have this 21-day program where you do a lot of tests and series every day, and you get prepared. And after that, you can book a date to take the actual test. So that's that. And then I'll start with my experience in PhD. So for me and for many universities that are here, you always get full funding. So by full funding, you mean the tuition fee is not there. You don't have to pay any tuition fee. And on top of that, you also get a stipend from the university because either you are a TA, which is a teaching assistant, or you are a GA, which is a graduate assistant. So that depends upon your professor, and that depends upon the university, whether they want TAs. So they'll hire you as a TA. So as a TA, your job is to be in the undergrad lab for 3 to 4 hours. Every week, you take 2 labs where you go to the lab, students are working, you just help them or provide them demonstration. It's a very simple, easy job, and you will really like it because it's something which is different from research. You are gaining experience by teaching. You will get to understand whether you are a good teacher or not, whether you want to pursue teaching after this or not, and also a very good add-on point for your resume that you have taught for this many years or this many semesters, and you have this experience of teaching undergrad students, which is much more higher than teaching just regular high school students. So that's good. And then you get enough money from the university after your tuition fee that you are able to survive here very nicely. You get good lifestyle, you get a good place to stay. You can either stay in hostel, you can either stay in a dorm or a shared space. You will have roommates. You can have a good place of your own where you can live and cook on your own, prepare meals. You will have enough time for yourself as well. But throughout the 5 years of this process, it's a good amount of rigorous training, as well as it offers a good lifestyle. So there will be a lot of challenges in your way, but it's not like you won't be able to cope up with it. It's a good process. You will get trained in life as well as in your professional life as well. And
Thank you. Quick question, Bhumika, how many hours you work a day in the lab? Just curious.
In as a TA,
research, like research work
for the research. So for the research, so my advisor expects 8 hours every day, 5 days a week, but it depends upon your research, right? if you, it depends upon what kind of a person you are. You are the morning person or evening person, or how your reactions are going. But average time is 8 hours every week, 5 days a week. Yeah.
Great.
5 days.
And I think that varies with the
Right.
advisor and lab as well, I guess.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Different
definitely.
Let's move on. We have Vinay here. He need to leave. So may I request Vinay to give his inputs? Vinay?
Oh,
Hi, Vinay.
hi everyone. I think I don't
Can you
have
show
anything
your
specific.
video, please? I mean,
Yeah,
you
sure.
can unmute. Just want to see. Yeah, go ahead.
See me,
Vinay.
right?
Yeah.
Hi everyone. I don't think I have anything specific to add as such. I think Bhumika's experience is more relevant because she has taken her GRE more recently than me. I've taken in 2010, and things have changed since then. One thing I also wanted to add was that having some kind of research experience definitely helps to get a PhD position in US. I think that was one of the reasons why I did a master's here in US before joining the PhD program. And another one important thing I think that also is often overlooked is a statement of purpose. You have to probably convince the selection committee as to why they have to select you for that particular thing. That is also pretty important aspect of your application.
All right.
So Vinay, can you get directly PhD without master's? Am I right, in US?
You can get it, but as long as you have some research, you have more weightage. But if you do not have any research experience, I think it is hard to get a PhD position directly.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, next I request, Vinay, anything else you want to add?
No, that is it. If somebody has a specific question, they can always reach out to me.
Yeah. Yeah, we will, I mean, if anybody, Vinay need to leave for today, but he provided his email ID. If anybody is interested to take his mentorship, he is available. But if you have any quick question before he leaves, you can ask now. Anyone? Okay, then I will ask Ravinder Sudhini, Dr. Ravinder Sudhini, to give his inputs. Ravinder?
Yeah, I'm trying to unmute. Thank you, Ravi. I introduce myself, Ravinder Sudhini. Based on my experience, last close to 30 years now in this field, means research, and industry, I would encourage first students. I know sometimes it's difficult to come to the conclusion because you are so young. I echo what Dr. Ganesh and Mahendra said, that first you have to have some passion. You start developing the passion to the chemistry, because that's very important in the beginning. Then you don't know whether you really want to become organic chemist or analytical chemist or physical chemist or formulator and so on. So it's difficult to know everything at upfront. It takes time to digest which way you want to go. And sometimes circumstance also may force you to choose one path or the other. So first, that is it is a long process, arduous, we all know that. As Mahendra pointed out, we should never get discouraged. Based on my background, I did come very rural of background. During my bachelor degree, City College, that time I had only one interest because I could not get an MBBS, like those days we call MBBS. I missed it. Then I thought myself, what I should be doing. Then I started developing a passion to the chemistry, and luckily, that time I had a name we call lecturer. His name Nagesh Shetty. I don't know whether you heard his name. He was so motivating teacher. It's unbelievable. And because of him, I got motivated to the chemistry, and that's where I started my passion. After coming into the masters, then I realized after the master, then I started working as, I wanted to become a civil servant, but those days. Then I tried once, twice, could not get. Then I said, that's it. Then I really need to go to the PhD path. That's where I ended up landing in Pune, National Chemical Laboratory, Pune. That's where I did my PhD. It took about close to 5 years. The training I got that time was, unfortunately, my boss to whom I was working, he was not there because he was 2-3 years away from the institute. Then I had to work on my own to do PhD basically. So actually that actually taught me what I should be doing in the life. Then I said I should be like developing skills much sharper so that I can get a good postdoc back in US or somewhere else. So luckily, after finishing my PhD, I got good postdoc back in Japan. And then I landed in a good laboratory there. I worked every day, be honest with you, I'm not proud or arrogant or saying anything. Getting a lot of money those days. And also to whom I worked, the Professor Fukuyama, I don't know where you name, he retired, and Professor Hirama. And in those labs, I worked on natural products, protein. I'm so passionate about chemistry and natural products. So I ended up making a molecule in 2 years that we published in JAC those days. And after, convincing, I was so motivated, started working every day 12 hours a day for 6 days. Only Sunday was off. And after producing those results, my one day professor asked me what I want to do in the life. So I said, I wanted to get a good postdoc back in the US so that I can go into a good company. That was a passion I had those days. I may be wrong, but that's I had in my mind those days. Then he called, just where you want to go in US. He just one phone call, he got me a postdoc in Harvard. Then I went in Harvard, I did 2 years. Then from there, I got into GlaxoSmithKline. So what I wanted to say in this, why I'm saying that journey means your passion should not falter as you start. Because the journey is a tough, but once you start working on this passion, everything would fall in line. So that's what I learned in my life. And later on, again, you would not regret that you really worked hard and you get rewarded, actually, the type of work you work, as Mahendra pointed out. It takes time to get rewarding, but it definitely will pay you back. So I worked in GlaxoSmithKline about close to 20 years, from bench to managing projects and so on. Then now I'm doing the consulting, drug development space. I had several clients in India, Europe, and US. Repeatedly, I would say that you continue to develop passion and steer, and don't try to be rigid in your goals, because sometimes circumstances may force you to change your path a little bit, because you always have to accommodate you. But now you all are lucky because there are a lot of modern techniques are available. Those days where internet was not that great and material was not available that great. You can access the material from every university, from every professor lab, from wherever you are. The only thing you have to have internet accessibility. So that's a great thing now. Or you can also attend a lot of lectures just sitting at home from the website. So that lot of enormous information is available. Only thing you have to have motivation and intent. You want to learn. Intent is the number one, because without that you cannot. We all come here, we can tell you our stories and all the things. And one thing I will tell you also, don't try to become somebody else. Try to become what you want to be. That's very important. You learn from others, but apply to your situation and try to become what you want to become. That's more important. So that's what it helps in the life in going forward. Okay, that's all, Ravi.
Thank you, Ravi. Next, I request Aravind. Aravind, are you there? Please go ahead.
Sir.
Please go ahead. You want to share your screen? Please go ahead.
Yeah, actually, I want to say something, but Bhumika said what I'm planning to say, everything. So, but I will share the slide. Actually, recently I contacted one of my PhD in my lab. I contacted one PhD student. So he explained me about things, what is happening, and what is the procedure and all. I just want to show that one slide so that the students who is interested in coming for the PhD admission in abroad, so they may be use this slide and input actually. So mainly the application requirements like recommendation letters, GRE, TOEFL, or IELTS. So some universities they are asking both GRE and TOEFL, and some of the universities they are not requiring GRE, but personal statement or SOP and CGPA is main things. So these four requirements are very important for any application process. If you have any research experience, then it will be very good, and publications also it will be adding to strength your application. And the IELTS or TOEFL, usually it will be having a 4 stages like reading, writing, and listening and speaking. So these 4 exams you have to be clear. So according to, I'm saying about the normal university, which is in the US presently. So my university is around a 350 to 400 rank. So according to my university, it is 6.5 to 7 IELTS. If you have, you can get your admission in the university. So if you have a, and one more thing, if CGPA is higher when you are doing a master's, so some universities, if they are requiring GRE also, they will be, waiver will be there for the GRE. And one more thing, the overall IELTS score should be 7. Or if you have a 6.5 also, they will be checking the speaking skill. Mainly, they will be speaking skills. They will be checking in the committee members who in the PhD admissions, whoever is there in the committee members, they will be checking the IELTS score of speaking only main. And so please, if who is planning for going for IELTS or TOEFL, the speaking skills should be more. And based on that, you just plan accordingly and try for the PhD admissions. And yeah, as Bhumika and Mahendra sir told, so everybody has to go for TA positions or GA positions in the university and first year. And in India also nowadays there is a in some national and IITs, NITs and IITs, the student cannot directly contact the professor. So there is a rotation system also going on. So when I'm graduating, on the time I saw few batches, they are rotating and they are giving their choice of professor. So the professor cannot take his own student. So in NIT, so I saw that when you are applying, once you are selected for the admission, so you can choose your preferences like 1, 2, 3. This I want to go this professor first. If he's not interested, so you can choose another professor also. The same way in United States also, rotating system will be there. So you will be rotating like a 3 or 4 faculty members, and finally you will be choosing which faculty you are interested. The same way in India also nowadays it's going on, but not how it's happening in from last 20 years here, but now it started in India as well. So yeah, I think this is my perspective of PhD admissions who is willing to join in abroad actually. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Arvind.
Ravi,
yes,
Ravi, one point I would like to mention. I'm sorry if I'm loud, I'm driving right now. So one point I understood from Arvind's experiences is that nowadays IELTS spoken English is very important. I think they may be testing you. So I think this is something new. Back in the days when I was doing, there was no testing, or like, since we have Zoom or Google Chat available, probably they may call, they take your interview probably. Is that what going on?
Yes, nowadays one of my PhD students, my lab, he said that if they are selecting you for screening test, they will be doing after your application is selected, they will call you and talk with you for few minutes about yourself. So that they will get to know that whether you can properly communicating or not, whether you can understanding what they are saying. They will be checking that one. So based on that, they will be releasing the final list actually. So
this is something new that students has to keep in mind to improve your not only written or speaking spoken English skills, also very important, not just only written. So writing GRE is not only sufficient, but also spoken English you can practice. I think there are a lot of websites available, apps that you can practice through. You don't really have to speak like an American. Just you have to speak slow, normal, regular, so that opposite person can understand very well that you're speaking fine English.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I'm sorry I missed a couple of minutes. Hopefully, it must have been covered already. But when it comes to postdocs, I think in addition to speaking skills, I think writing skills are also important. Writing skills on the subject that you haven't done much, writing skills on the new subject. They can pick any subject. There are hundreds of subjects. You can write about what's going on the streets and looking at the condition. You can write about the vaccines. You can write about anything that you don't know. Then you will know. You will know a little bit upheld. Ahead of time. Ahead of time that how much skills you are, and then you probably show it to someone else. It's okay to show it to someone else and get some feedback. How you have written. It doesn't matter. It has to be assigned. It can be written something. So writing skills are also important. That way, this choice of choosing the supervisor, perhaps it is there in IITs, but not sure whether it is there in Osmania and IICT and all area. That's a good thing, but it's not really a must thing. But wherever you are, I mean, speaking definitely. I see that speaking wise, our students from Osmania or IICT, they are very good compared to many others come here to US, many other South Asians. Writing skills also, I think it is better if they start developing it. They write some manuscripts. I'm sure if they already have a couple of publications, they already written it with the help of supervisor. But I think it is better if supervisor even give the opportunity for them to write first, and then perhaps add their finger to correct it or edit it. That way, the better learn. When it comes to one comment I would like to add, that when it comes to recommendation letters, very key actually. Recommendation letters. I don't know what do they look in Indian subcontinent in a recommendation letter. I found myself, and I know what my supervisors expected when I was applying or when someone was applying in our lab. And when I look for, I think it should be really, should not be a general letter. Even if a supervisor writing a couple of words about a postdoc, it's not about how many 3 publications he had, 5 publications he had, that he has already covered in his resume. I kind of myself and my colleagues look forward something closely related about candidate. How keen, I'm talking about the postdoc recommendation letters. I have seen one because I had half a dozen or so postdoc by now. Some of the letters were not really giving us information to make a better choice over other candidate. They were very general. This person worked for 5 years, started this day and this day, and then he had 3 publications. He was good and he was good. Those are the things are expected. It's like these days when we write the grants to get a fellowship or funding, we always have good things, but there people also look for what are those weaknesses. So strengths and weaknesses are very important, and how keen the student is paying attention to. And when it comes to science, really, you may not believe it, small things really play a role in science. How keen the student paying attention to those. That itself will tell the application preparation itself, how cleanly, how nicely he prepared the resume. Of course, he can take somebody's help, prepare the resume very well, but recommendation letters also, I think, to reflect the candidature very well. That's what my humble request to the professors in India when you nominate or when you recommend a postdoc.
I would like to add one point quickly for Dr. Ganesh. For postdoc recommendation letters, please don't copy and paste from Google, because nowadays it's information is available everywhere. People check, write it through your heart. Even though it's wrong, like Dr. Ganesh said, take somebody's help to review, edit, and clean it up. But write it from your heart. First, even for professors, Student has to write your letter and give it to professor, and then professor cleans it up and adds more points and then make it better. So that's one important thing. And second thing is also for applying for postdocs, a cover letter is very important. You need to express yourself, what you have done, what you are going to do, what is your career goal, all these things. A good cover letter also increases of your chances of getting a good postdoctoral lab.
Totally agree. Yeah, totally agree. This postdoc thing is really our student. By the way, postdocs, yeah, I know listening here, prospective postdocs here, it's a very good opportunity. Very good opportunity. You have no restriction on visas or anything. We have unlimited access, how many postdocs we wanted to bring in. So every lab needs one, but we need good postdocs. I know these days, all these smartphones and all came, and you have unlimited information on hand, whatever you want. Feel free to ask the questions yourself, your peers there, and then even your phones, and then learn very quickly. You know, as I think either Bhumika was saying that what made her application better than many others may have applied, right? Basically, everyone have, you know, if they did masters, they will have a GPA. I don't know, in India they call all universities call GPA now, I suppose. They have GPA, and then they have you know, first rank, maybe distinction, things like that. Then many of them will have. What else you have in your resume? That's what probably look for, other than the letter that institutes like you to write about. One is a letter, so that means writing is important. And then what else you have in your resume other than others? For example, if someone is really you know, all in IICT, let's say, that's only the place I know, that's what I'm bringing up, IICT and Osmania University, our OU campus. Every student will have similar experience. Let's say one will have one methodology, other will have another methodology. One will synthesize one natural product, another will another. So what is this extra that you have? So you have to add that into your cover letter, as Dr. Mahendra was saying. You know, what's your goal? Why you wanted to do postdoc? Those are the things would help us. You know, other than what we'll think, okay, this person need another job for a few more years. You don't want to give that impression. You want to give an impression that you are coming here to learn something, so that you will use it. So hope I expressed what we look for.
One last quick point, Dr. Ganesh. One last quick point. Sorry, I'm not going to take more than 1 minute. So when you said writing skills, to show your writing skills, so if you can write a research summary, what you have done in your PhD, which is something similar to a review of your own papers, 1 paragraph, quick summary of your each paper, and then narrate it a nice story, 2-page research summary, that helps a lot to highlight your application to get a good postdoctoral position. So that will prove that you have good writing skills. So keep that in mind.
So
Yeah.
question, Ganesh, Professor Ganesh sir.
Yeah.
Do you get these recommendation letters in confidential without knowing student, or student do also receive that same copy?
No, they are all confidential. If student sending the letters, they are not letters. I do not, at least for me. I in fact, after seeing several letters, I specifically reached out to who have written the letters and asked a few questions that I like to hear. So they are confidential as far as I know.
Okay.
I want to say one word here. So nowadays, some applications they are asking before while application procedure itself, they are asking some recommendation letters. Some universities they are asking that.
Yeah, some of them ask ahead of the time. Mostly the confidential, and I have given a bunch of letters. Everybody, all the advisors, they reach out to me straight. They give my name when student applying for a position. They give my name as a reference, and then their advisor reach out to me. Can you provide me a reference letter? And then sometimes they call me to get their reference, like, you know, how he works, what he does. Not just a letter of writing is not only sufficient. They call me and talk to me as well.
Yeah, just want to bring another person into the discussion, Sheikh Baji Baba. I think you are PhD or postdoc.
Yeah, hello, good evening, sir.
Yes, please introduce yourself and give your inputs.
Yeah, myself, I'm Sheikh Baji Baba. Currently, I'm doing PhD in University of KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa. I did my master's in Mahatma Gandhi University, Nalgonda. Currently, I am working in medicinal chemistry. Now I'm in second year PhD student in University of KwaZulu-Natal. In South Africa, there is no need of IELTS or TOEFL. Even getting funding also very easy compared to others. Most of the time, supervisor will fund for your studies and accommodation and food and other expenses. And there is some bursaries also available like NRF TWAS and university fundings. So if anyone interested in PhD in South Africa, definitely I will help you in getting a seat or in application process. Even
Excellent.
I had a lot of time. I have discussions with Mahinder sir also. Yeah, he motivated me a lot in last couple of months. And also I attended these OU alumni meetings also. Really, Osmania University is doing great job for students. Thank you everyone for your valuable time and suggestion.
Yeah. So that's coming from South Africa. So if anybody is interested, it looks like there are more opportunities and a little easier way to get in.
Ravi, if I get 5 minutes, I can talk about PhD other than USA, like
Correct.
Europe
Okay.
or
That's very
Sure,
important,
Mahendra.
actually. Yeah,
Go ahead.
the same question I'm going to ask actually. Why only
Yeah,
everybody is
so-
targeting US?
Yeah, so I can speak about it. So the world is filled with opportunities for PhD, postdoc, or whatever it is. Not only just in the US. Of course, US is attractive to everybody, but Europe also is doing a lot of good research. There's a difference between US and Europe that I learned through people, my colleagues who did their PhD in Europe. I met them. I learned from them like this. So I was curious to learn how did their PhD experience was. So let's say in London, UK, or in, nearby, Scotland, Ireland, all those places, it's about 3 to 4 years. It's very quick if you have a master's in your home country.
Right.
Right, then you don't really have to teach anything, take any coursework. You just go there, you start working in your lab, and then you publish your papers, and then you write your thesis, you defend, boom, that's it. 3 to 5 years, 4 years. Some labs take 5 years because biology labs usually take a little longer than what it is because the biology research depends on the animals, cells, they behave weird, the results come a little late. So that's different from chemistry. People have seen 3 years. If you have 2 years of master degree in your home country, 3 years they got PhD in Europe. But the only important thing is they don't come with the funding. You have to apply for funding through various different scholarships. The scholarships, plenty of scholarships are available for the international students. Nowadays, if you Google them, I've been forwarding a bunch of scholarship opportunities in the WhatsApp group. All you have to do is sit down, go through the opportunity, read about it, you understand what they are asking for, and then if most of the scholarships ask to write a research proposal, about 2 to 3 pages of research proposal. If you can write it, start writing it, and take help from your home professor or your friends or your peers or your PhD students and scholars in your department or postdocs. If you can write 2 to 3 page proposal and submit, let's say you submitted 10 applications, I can guarantee you that one will be accepted. There are many opportunities every year. The funding is there, but not a lot of applications are received. That's what I have learned from other people, especially international. Many scholarships, not only PhD, postdoc scholarships are buried on the internet. They're available, but people don't know, and people don't apply. If you can take initiative, and I always tell even my son that this is your life. You have to pay more attention than myself. Your parents or your friends or anybody else. So you have to sit down for your own job. Others will help. It's like if you show the motivation help, there are so many opportunities in Europe, Japan, New Zealand, Canada. Canada is also similar to Europe.
Right.
3 to 4 years. You don't have to do all these coursework or exams or seminars. Seminars, there will be there always. It's a process of training, but you can exempt from the course. And this is my experience from my what I learned from my friends in the Europe. So pay attention. Just go and search in the Google. Like Bhumika said, her PhD search was started with the Google. Google is the best place nowadays. That's all I have to say. And feel free to ask me questions. I'm happy to. Offline, online, if somebody needs a reference letters, I'm happy to provide as well. So if you want me to review any of your SOPs, send it to me. When I have some time, I'm happy to give you.
So Mahendra, exactly whatever you said is perfectly well suited to this audience. I wanted to echo on that conversation what Mahendra put now. Europe is also very fertile for all the future PhDs and postdocs, and including Japan too. So it's very good. And also one advantage you may have, because you get a PhD just at least 1 to 2 years early in Europe, but that PhD you can use a launching pad to come into US in very good schools or very good
for a very good postdoc position. Even Ivy League.
Ivy League everywhere. That's what Japan. So the experience I tell you in Japan, I was there. I used that as a platform to come into Harvard. Otherwise, just imagine, be honest with you, from India, no way I can come to Harvard. I can tell you. So that's why I think you should use this kind of experience and use to your advantage. Think about Europe as well. Think about Canada. Think about Japan.
Even
in Japan,
South
if you succeed, you get money too. They pay a lot of money even in PhDs.
Yeah, even South Africa, I think Sheikh Bazi has spoken well. He has more chance of getting into an Ivy League than others. I can see, like, foreign PhD is valid in the US. They're looking for people from all over the world, not just from India, China. So it will improve and increase your chances as a postdoc into Ivy Leagues and better universities and better labs, even sometimes Nobel labs.
Yeah. So you will have a lot of prospects once you get a PhD from Europe or Japan or Canada.
Yeah, before we open up for discussion, I have one more last speaker, Dr. Ramana. Please go ahead, Ramana. Then we can have a general discussion and conclude it. Go ahead, Ramana.
Yeah, thanks, Ravi. I think, Dr. Ganesh and Dr. Mahendra and Dr. Sudhani, so they covered actually pretty much everything. I would like to stress out on a couple of points. And first thing is, as everyone said, that passion is important to do, to do PhD here. So yeah, you need to commit yourself for 5 years. And that's, without passion, it's kind of hard to commit yourself for 5 years. That's one thing. The second thing is in terms of, funding as a teaching assistantship, I think that requires test of spoken English scores. I think you need to meet every university requires certain criteria, that's something you need to focus on. Most of the times you may not get the funding as a researcher, as a RA. Most of the times you may end up with becoming a TA, teaching assistant, and for that you need to meet that test of spoken English scores. That's something you really need to focus into. The third thing is, before you choose any university, you need to have a good understanding about what kind of research those professors are doing in those departments, and that's a critical component. Unless you need to have the passion, and again, you need to link your passion with whatever the research going on in that particular department. I think you should choose that department or university based on that common passion. So that's a third thing I would like to point out. I think that's what I have.
Well, thank you, Ramana. There are some questions in the chat. One of them is opportunities in the bioinformatics, I think. Anyone can pharmacoinformatics. Anyone have any inputs for that student? Pharmacoinformatics.
I can add some points. Bioinformatics is booming now. Pharmacoinformatics, anything related computers and biology, computers and chemistry, it's a hot nowadays. But it all depends on what kind of problem you're solving. So you have to pick now, let's say genomics, transcriptomics, right? Back from in the past 2 years, we have seen gene sequencing for the COVID-19. Lots of people may have heard about it. So gene sequencing, experiment is required in general, but as much as experiment required, bioinformatics also required. So to analyze that data, it's booming. It has a lot of bright future. In the beginning, one of the speakers said that, I think Dr. Ganesh said that computational chemistry, without computer, there is no drug that is being designed without a computer. So it's booming. Bioinformatics, pharmacoinformatics, these are all different names. it all depends on what is the problem that you're going to solve. You're after it.
Okay. So now it is open for any other questions that are not covered. In the next 5 minutes, if there are no questions, then we can conclude it and we can plan for the next session. But I would like to see if there are any further questions for the panelists. You have an excellent group of people here who are very passionate about helping you. Please ask your questions and yeah, continue the
And
conversation.
also, Ravi, one more thing is in Europe, not only PhD scholars, there's a lot of postdoctoral scholarships available. So you need to look into it. There's a lot of money, you know, $80,000 per year, like that. So that's a lot of money for a postdoctoral scholarship. 2 years, you're independent, your own money, you'll be doing a lot of research. You don't have to depend on your boss paying you. So you're getting paid from a scholarship. So those are plenty of opportunities there, even for postdocs.
I agree. I think opportunities are everywhere. Even within the US now, at least for the last 10 years, NIH came up with some guidelines how much a postdoc should be paid. In fact, I would say we're paying very decently compared to before 10 years ago. Anywhere closer to 50, 55 beginning. 50 beginning, I would say. We are even going up to 60, 65, which used to be substantially smaller in number when we came. I would say it's a decent money, but it doesn't mean that it's really a full job like people get paid here in US. I would say it's a decent money to live for a family of 3. If you're really focused on research and mold your career towards next career, whatever the way it is. We don't expect every student go back and settle in the academy as a professor. We don't expect everyone to go to industry. If you happen to go to industry, obviously you have better salaries. But my point is, I think everywhere opportunities are there, in Europe, in US and Japan and a few other countries that I don't know, but I'm sure there are opportunities everywhere.
And also, I wish some of you get trained in this Western part of the world. We wish some of them also would want to go back to India and settle down and serve our society. That is also a very welcoming step.
In fact, one of my postdoc recently got a faculty job in Geetham University, Vizag. So he joined there as a faculty, and I offered all the help he needs to set up a lab. In fact, transfer some materials, biomaterials, if he needs some cell lines or something like that. So it's always, I think, if you can go back to an established lab there, obviously great.
Yep. Any other questions?
Sir, excuse
someone
me, sir.
asked about the opportunities in Qatar. So I don't know if we have any specific information, but the general guidelines given by the panelists, like doing Google search and finding the universities and specific labs that you are interested.
Ravi, for Qatar, there are few scholarships available. Even Middle East, not only Qatar, Bahrain or Middle East universities. Go to opportunitiespedia.com. There's a plenty of scholarships, fellowships are listed over there with the deadlines, requirements, and everything. Opportunitiespedia.com.
I think you send those links. I will resend again those links so that you can go through those links. And also someone asked about the PhD in Taiwan. And okay, if anyone interested, that is the information actually. Interested in PhD in Taiwan, try to do it through TIGP application. So that is coming from Baji Baba. So the next step we would like to do is I'm going to send a questionnaire, Google questionnaire.
Somebody wants to ask a question, Ravi. I think somebody unmuted and they wanted to ask a question. Just give 1 minute to somebody. Please unmute yourself.
No, I'm not closing, but I'm just giving some information here as a follow-up step. I'm going to send a Google questionnaire to take your interest, what are you interested in, and your profiling, so that I can share that information with our panelists, and they can do one-to-one mentoring also as needed. So that will be one next step I'm going to do to take your collect your interest, what you are interested in. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. If anybody is looking.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, myself, Dr. Prashanti.
Yes, go ahead, Prashanti. Please go ahead.
Sir.
You're asking some question. Please go ahead, Prashanti.
Yes, sir. Sir, actually, the PhD opportunities are in Taiwan and Korea also, sir. So if any, sir, we can go ahead with the Korea PhD also, even in Taiwan also, sir. And someone asked about the program in Qatar, but we can have a chance of PhD position in Riyadh, sir. Like universities and some other universities are there. Few of professors are known to me, sir, so that we can go ahead with that process also.
Excellent. Yeah. So
Taiwan, Korea, and Riyadh, like other Qatar.
yeah. So Dr. Prashanti is in our PDF PhD group. So anybody is interested, you can send message there so that she can connect to you. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Anyone have any other questions?
I think Chagan T. Srinivas want to ask.
Yeah. It's almost 2 hours, 11:47. So I think we can conclude now. We can certainly have more sessions, more specific sessions indeed, based on the need of the students. Anyone would like to say anything to conclude from panelists?
Yeah, definitely, Ravi. I think this is going to be helpful. The plan that you set up, it is going to be helpful to the students, and then better enable them to better prepare it. And opportunities are not only in chemistry students and biology, biochemistry, pharmacology, molecular modeling. Opportunities are everywhere. If someone did, let's say, organic chemistry PhD, if you wanted to pursue in molecular modeling, they can apply to concerned labs. Now, chemical biology is a hot area coming up. Basically, you try to use the small molecule to ask a biology question, not really develop a drug. That's what chemical biology. Like you develop a probe, like a fluorescently labeled or radio labeled, and then ask biology questions. So in that also you can mold yourself into. But this program really going to help. And if if necessary, we will be happy to pitch in another time and then offer any other specific comments if someone has. Thank you, Ravi. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, I just want to add one sentence here. Thank you, Ganesh. I think in going forward, I think all of the aspirants your Google should be your friend. Google should be your friend in going forward. Google provides such a information, is unbelievable. And of course, you can use us time to time. If you have any specific question, reach out to us directly on phone. Anytime we are happy to help you. And regarding the PhD, I mean, doing in abroad, like, of course, US, everybody wants to come to US, but again, we pointed out Europe is also very fertile, and Japan and Canada. And I would rank, again, I'm not trying to belittle Korea or Taiwan or any other country, but just think about it, what kind of rank you want, like how you want to position yourself and going forward PhDs, because that would set your career also down the road. Okay.
Yeah. Ravi, one last point I would like to add quickly.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the most important thing is, all these 2 hour session, all the panelists give very valuable information, but I would like to say to the students or prospective postdocs is self-motivation is very important. Without self-motivation, personal interest, nothing can be done much. So they keep that in mind. That's all I would like to say. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. There are two types of mentors in the panel. One are more experienced, staying here more than 10-15 years. They can act more as a mentors. But we have Bhumika and Arvind, Baji Baba, and Vinay, who are still in the labs. So they will be like your immediate help to go through the process. About the process, they will help you. About the specific questions you have, these four, and we might add few more to this panel. So take help from them to go through the steps, and for general discussion and giving you the general idea, there are experienced panelists here. So we will have conversation again, maybe after 2-3 weeks or so. Once we get the basic information about your interests and how we can support more effectively. So we'll do it again. So just to conclude for today's discussion, the first and foremost thing, everyone.
Point, Ravi, Dr. Ravi, 1 point, just 1 point.
Yes.
You know, this something that was told about statement of purpose is very, very important. So what the senior mentors can do is to look at the statement of purpose written by the prospective students and then refine them and to help them to become better and better. So that's where the senior mentors can play a crucial role.
Correct.
Let's go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, once we identify the steps and then where you need help from the mentors, like statement of purpose or any other steps, then definitely you will get help. So the first and foremost thing is the passion that you are interested in the research. That is very important. And to back up to your passion, you should have a commitment, which is demonstrated by your hard work. So unless you have those traits, it is hard to be successful in this field. So don't look for money or don't compare yourself with IT guys. Maybe with short trainings, they may be getting more money, but if that is your interest to just make money, then probably this is not the place for you. But if you are interested in research and if you commit to that, then there is money as well as satisfaction for you, what you want to do. So that is the first take home point everyone mentioned. And the second thing is communication skills. So when you are entering into outside world, your communication is your bridge to communicate with other faculty members or your department and everyone. So build those communication skills, writing and speaking skills. Writing is important because you need to write papers, you need to make the presentations. So communication skills is another important point stressed by all the panelists. And Bhumika and other Arvind, they provided the steps to apply. What are the steps? Follow those steps. And if you have any questions or any help needed for those steps, reach out to us. And as many panelists said, Google search is very, very important. Spend more time there. Go to university websites, go to department sites, and look at the research profiles of the faculty members there, professors, and identify who are matching to your interests. So that Google search is very critical, and spend more time on that. So those are the important points I noted down based on the discussion we had today. And soon I'm going to send this Google questionnaire to everyone. So once I get that information from you about your interests, then I share with the panelists, and together we will come up with a plan how we can help each of you. And probably since we have like 6 to 10 panelists here, we can take 2, 3, or 4, 5 students and then mentor them one-to-one as needed. Is that looks like a plan to everyone?
Yeah, thank you, Ravi. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Mainly the
That sounds good,
panelists.
Ravi.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, who took their precious time out of the, weekends are the only time here people spend time with family. So thank you very much for giving your time, and we will add more recent postdocs and PhD students as we get more information from our friends, so that we can get more information as needed for you. So thank you very much, and let's discuss more in the WhatsApp group also.
Okay.
Thanks, Ravi. Thanks
Thank
for
you, Ravi.
organizing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Very
Thank you
nice
all.
meeting you, Dr. Ganesh, Venkat, Ravi. So it's been a long time. Very nice meeting you. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for your time.
Nice
Appreciate
meeting you all too. Yeah.
Thank you. Have a great weekend. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everybody, for having me. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Bhumika. Bye. Bye, everyone.